Underwood. Thin ice!
So I can't knock down a triple here. Woo, okay. I didn't even miss a shot this entire time, so take that. This better be good for the team.
Oh,
I thought for sure.
there it is. Boom!
Yes! All right, Illini Basketball Podcast, episode 248, January 31st, 2025. So the last episode I was wrong. I was kind of wrong at the beginning. I
You
said
corrected yourself.
Yeah, that's true, but just making sure that it's all on the record. We are 19 hours ago, Illinois lost to Nebraska 80-74 in overtime. Illinois seemingly a team that I don't even know. I don't know. Go ahead.
That is exactly it. Yeah, it's like Hinkle texted me later on in the night and he said, "I'm sad," and it's like I've gotten past the point of being mad at this team. I'm disappointed. It's like when your kid comes home and he says that he wrecked his car or something. Like, you're just disappointed because he was texting too much or something.
You guys have a weird, it's like a weird level. They're like, I'm now is when I'm mad at the team.
Yeah.
I didn't start getting mad at the team until now.
Okay.
Which
well,
I
you're
think
mad because your printer's not working, but
that pissed me off too. That didn't help. But that game made me mad at the team. I wasn't mad at the team after USC. I wasn't mad after Michigan State. Wasn't mad after Maryland. Last night made me mad. And I'll say this, maybe I'd be a better coach than you guys. I don't know.
I mean, I think Brad's mad. I don't know what.
He's not showing it on the fucking sideline.
No, he's not. He maybe broke his hand last night, though. There's rumors of that.
I hope so. That'd be great for the team.
So I don't know.
You guys fucking suck so much that I broke my hand.
Has Brad gotten too soft?
People are certainly asking. That's definitely a question worth asking. Has Brad lost his edge? Was going to be something that I asked today. And maybe, I'm sure in practices and other stuff, he's still that same guy. But there's a calming aspect of him over the last couple of years we've seen. I think a lot of it is because he likes his teams. But right now, you can't like your team. The way they're playing. And a lot of it from last night falls on the coaching staff. I don't see how they're not to blame for a lot of the stuff that happened.
They can't go out and make threes for guys, but
they could maybe try different things.
And they can't go out there and make sure that Jake Davis doesn't go for a head fake against a guy that they played 10 feet off of all night. They can't make Trey White not get back cut, Will Riley not get back cut all night long. Nebraska set screens. You know what Illinois doesn't do? They don't set screens. You look at the sideline out of bounds play 3 times in a row. Illinois had to I had a buddy text and he's like, I'm worried they're going to get the ball in after the timeout from Brad, which they got it in fine the first time. Then they had to throw it to the backside of the court to get it in. And then Will Riley gets one in the corner. My dog's being stupid. Go.
Well, one of the problems that I have with it is the fact that Nebraska had 3 fouls to give. That is infuriating when you consider the way that these officials called this game. The fouls ended up being 18-18, but that doesn't change the fact that there is no scenario to me where a team should have, especially a team that's less talented. The less talented you are, the tougher you're going to play defensively, especially Nebraska. That's what they are. They're going to play with toughness. How in the flying, I'm going to say the F word a lot today. I won't say it there. How many times, how is it possible for Nebraska to have 3 fouls to give there? That is so stupid. I think that's why Brad.
You don't attack the basket.
I think if Brad doesn't call timeout,
It doesn't matter. I don't think it matters if he calls timeout
That's what I'm
because they're
saying.
still fouling. Like it
But
didn't.
I
I guess maybe because you have one in your pocket in case Boswell can't get it in, or the only option is to throw it to Will Riley in the corner. It would
What
have
do
been
you
nice to have a timeout then.
what do you think about getting fouled 3 times and then calling timeout?
Yeah, that's or using it when you run literally the same down screen on Kasparis and never set an actual screen for him to rub him up top, and you can't get the ball into him because guess what? Hoiberg's kid is pretty smart. He knows what's going on. Like he knows how to defend that because you did it 3 times in a row. Like you can't tell me that was the only thing. Like their only plan was, hey, we're getting the ball inbounds to Kasparis. Because that seemed like the only plan there was. And when that failed, it ended up being Will Riley. Brad said that Will got a great look, which if you want to say that's a great look, like, come on.
I don't know. For Will Riley, that might be a good look.
Yeah. But another part of it is like Boswell taking the ball out there. Like they're going to put the biggest guy on Boswell to make it as hard as they can for him to get the ball in. And that's exactly what happened. I don't know. The team sucked. The coaches sucked. Everybody sucked last night. And
DGL.
Except for DGL. And Will Riley was okay. I'd say Will Riley was good for a 6-minute span. That's about it. But it's just unbelievable. And I know people are bitching because DGL got taken out and Ben was put in. And you know what? It didn't matter because Illinois didn't even get it in to run a play. It didn't matter. If DGL catches that in the corner, it doesn't matter. And the thing, Will Riley, Kasparis was cutting also on that play. There were 6 seconds left, and Will Riley still chucked it up. So, there were mistakes from everybody last night. And the fact that they even had a chance to win that game.
I think it says a lot about Nebraska.
Yeah.
Nebraska is not good at all. I don't care what anybody says. Nebraska's best player in this game shot 10 for fucking 26. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me how Illinois could play an impossibly bad game and get to overtime with a chance to win at the end of regulation, which God forbid Illinois makes a buzzer beater. They haven't made one since what, Revante Rice? It's so annoying.
Made one.
It wasn't a buzzer beater. It was just like, it was a clutch shot. And the clutchest shooter on the team is Kasparis. He's probably the one who should get a shot there. I don't care that he missed
couldn't get him the ball.
Figure it out. I mean, are the coaches doing anything at this point?
I don't know. I assume Tyler Underwood's the one writing up these plays, and this is what they do.
Well, I think you need to start with somebody else inbounding the ball. Have Hummer inbound the ball. He can't make a shot anyway. What does it matter?
And as much as if they weren't shooting the ball well, they got 20 offensive rebounds. So it's not like, Brad again was asked. He said, "No, I keep shooting them. We got 21 of them back."
Illinois is the greatest rebounding team that isn't that good at basketball right now in the history of the sport.
Yeah. But I who can get besides DGL right now? Who can get to the basket? Kasparis couldn't last night. Kasparis was careless with the ball.
His handle was not as sharp as it usually is.
Yeah,
last night.
Just being up top that one time, and he decides to go through the legs 3 times and ends up just giving it away. Like it's unnecessary dribbling. So I don't know.
I don't like that Kasparis is becoming kind of a punching bag for some people. And that's probably because that one guy wouldn't shut the fuck up about it on Twitter last night.
Yeah.
That fucking loser, that brainless motherfucking loser who knows nothing about basketball. He wouldn't know basketball talent if it slapped him in the face, as one of our reviews on Apple says. His stat line's great, but his turnovers are terrible. And his stat line, I guess, is not great. 6 for 15, you'd like a little better than that. But he had 18, 13, and 4. 6 turnovers were bad. Does the Jake Davis drop count as a Jake Davis turnover?
I don't know.
I don't know if it does or not, because if it does, then whatever. But if it doesn't, then Kasparis really had 5 turnovers. But I don't know, because Jake Davis did have 1. I don't know if it was that one. But I have
would
a.
assume that would be on Jake. Yeah.
I would think, but he never really had possession. Can you turn it over if you don't have possession? I don't really understand.
If you
how.
miss a pass to your face, yeah.
There's
can be on
old school basketball rules. I don't know.
It's like dribble, pass a couple times, and then shoot a three. Yeah, the thing, like, maybe 8 of those were step back threes. Casper's made all 3 of his were step backs, but they were pure. But like Illinois got open looks. It's not like those threes weren't open. I think Piper asked Brad about the threes or something, and Brad decided to just go after Piper after the game, and said that he said that Piper could have made those, and he knows how bad of a basketball player he was. And he said, "quote I've heard. I know how crappy of a player you were." Like that's what he's saying to our beat writers right now. So
I would say the same thing. I don't care. I take serious issue with the way the starters played last night, and I'll kind of take Merez out of that. He played 25 minutes, didn't get to play a lot of the first half because of, once again, 2 bullshit foul calls.
He got his third, and Brad left him in.
Yeah. Trey White, I just think that, I mean, he did have 13 rebounds, but 10 of them were in the first half, and I just don't think that Trey White dribbling and trying to create on his own is any way for this team to play. That shouldn't happen at all. Not that it's his fault, but they got to use him in the way where he's best, which they were earlier in the year.
Yeah. Well, and the problem is, like, and I know, like, people are tired of Brad making excuses and Tommy being out and whatever, but like Trey White is a different player with Tommy out because he doesn't have Tommy to force the big up top, and he's a great cutter. That's what he's good at. So, okay.
Whoa. Let me say something about Boswell real quick.
Okay.
Boswell, sidestep 3, I would nominate as the worst shot selection of the game, and there was a lot of them. And Boswell has
the quick threes from Boswell are so infuriating. Like Brad talked about it, I don't know, 5 games ago, 6 games ago. Like those threes are when your team is not in a position to rebound. And all that is an empty possession. Like it's as bad as a turnover at some point.
Well, I don't understand why Boswell is a junior. He's played a lot of basketball at a level like this, and just some of the mistakes, it doesn't make any sense. I think it's maybe an IQ thing, in basketball IQ. There's some decision making, or it just doesn't make any sense. I think there was a lot of that happened at Arizona, but he was still an effective player, and I think he still is an effective player. He's been playing pretty well coming into this game. Like from Indiana to Northwestern, he had 12 or more points. He was making layups. He still can't shoot from 3, but he was also, he had some turnovers in those games, but he did a lot of good things in those games. And just last night, he didn't have it. He wasn't the worst starter. I mean, I'll also say this about Kasparis. It's hard for him to operate when nobody's moving and he doesn't really have anybody to feed off of like he does with Ivisic. And I don't understand how people expect him to not do what he did when he feels like maybe he's the only guy out there. Yeah,
there's some mental mistakes that he can't be doing.
Well, I'm fine with an 18-year-old doing it as opposed to a junior or senior.
Yeah, but like it always seems like in critical moments is when Illinois does this. Like every time last night when there was a chance to go ahead, it's like they just shit themselves.
There were some really bad plays during that. Kaspar's driving baseline, throwing it away.
Yeah. Warner says for weeks, though, guys, Brad has been telling the guys to shoot more threes. This is the team Brad wanted, and he wants them shooting threes. He also says without Tommy, everyone can slag into the lane, and there is not spacing. Yeah, I mean, Nebraska was like, shoot threes. I mean, that's how they were last night. And I think Illinois is probably going to get a lot of that because they shoot the most threes, and they're second to last in the conference at making them. Like teams are going to let them shoot until they start making them. And until they start making them, the floor will not open up. Like every time somebody went to the lane, they were doubled. every time.
Hear me out. Kerry Booth, top of the perimeter, playing the Ivisic role with Merez on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Kerry has the passing ability of.
I don't think Kerry Booth's going to play again ever.
Kerry Booth went ISO last night, guys. What in the hell is going on?
Had an offensive board though.
Yeah, good for him.
Had a foul, missed a shot, and an offensive board in 4 minutes.
There's a lot of comments. Sorry, I'm not reading them all.
Okay, Humrick House, we'll talk about it. I mean, Humrick House last night, and I'll just have a few thoughts before you get into it.
Okay.
I would say he was just impossibly bad. I think it's hard to be that bad. 25 minutes, 0 for 8 from the field, 1 for 2 from the free throw line, 7 rebounds, 1 turnover, 2 blocks. And I don't understand why people think he's unplayable, because I don't think he's unplayable. I think they literally have to play him right now.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of issues.
They have to play him because of his size. And that's what I don't think people understand. Like I know that Hummer got a lot of shit for not playing good defense, but like he's been really good in his role defensively. He was really good last night in his role defensively. Did he miss every three he took? Yes. Did he try to back down the first play of overtime? For some reason, Brad went to him to back down and he almost airballed a 4-footer. Yes. But defensively, this team you can't sub out DGL for Hummer for most of the game. That is not defensively, it won't work.
Well, one of the problems is he shot 42% from 3 last year, and he was a bit more of a consistent shooter, I believe. I know it's a different, level, but
I saw it was what's his face from Sleepers. Took a picture of it. Since December 1st, Illinois' 3-point shooting. Kasparis 37%, Ivisic 33%, Humrickhouse 30%, DGL 30%, Boswell 25%, Trey White 21%, Will Riley 20%. So since December 1st, he's our third best 3-point shooter. And I know that 0 for 7 sucks. Like it's awful. KJ went 3 of 10. He missed 7 threes. Will Riley 4 of 10. He missed 6 threes.
Well, there's a difference between missing 6 and 7 when you make 0.
Give him 3 more. Give him 3 more. He might go 3 for 10.
I don't know about that last night. He probably would have went 1.
How many of those were in the basket?
One of them was. At least one.
I would say 3 of them were. But
okay, well, you're a little biased. We know that. It's just I would not. It's tough. I definitely would not start Will Riley over Humrickhouse right now. That doesn't make any sense to me. Positionally, how the fuck does that make sense? And did any of you I won't say it. Did any of you guys in the chat watch Will Riley's defense last night?
Oh, it was awful.
Come on. You can't do that. I don't think you can even have a lineup without Humrickhouse right now because of you don't have anything because if it's Will Riley,
especially if Merez is in foul trouble.
That's another part of this. And Kerry Booth is just useless, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And you're not going to start
everybody's
Jake
calling
Davis.
for Dane Danger. Wish we had Dane Danger. Dane Danger didn't want to be here because of Tommy and because of Merez. Like, you guys don't, you can't go 3 deep at the center position with guys with 2 of them that are just traditional centers. And there's no way Dane would have stayed here.
Jake Davis is a better replacement in the starting lineup than anybody for Humrickhouse, and it still does not make sense.
Really? Jake Davis has been getting hated on after being loved last game. So,
oh God, Jake Davis. Oh, he had 4 rebounds and an assist, and he made a 3. He wasn't horrible. He's fine. Whatever. What do you expect? What do they expect from him? I mean, I'd like him to make 2 out of those 4, but obviously something different has to be done. We understand that. But you guys can't just pick one guy. I think, what you should fucking do is you should send a message. Boswell, you're coming off the bench. DGL, you're starting. I don't see what the problem is there. Do it. Why the hell not? DGL is going to bring the energy early. Little kick in the ass to Boswell. If he's a veteran player who's played, this is his 3rd year in D1 basketball, he should understand it. The team's losing right now, and they need to figure it out. And when Brad said he's going to make a change to the starting lineup, I think that's a more likely scenario than anything else.
Well, and everybody's worried about who's starting. You look at the minutes, like Hummer played 24 minutes, DGL played the same amount, and Will Riley played 27. So I like, who gives a shit who starts?
Brad benching the starters would definitely make me be like, we are fucked. I don't think he needs to do that.
I don't know if we got enough guys to bench the starters.
If they get killed on Sunday, that's when you bench the starters because you're at home. And it's just they're a little shorthanded right now. They have no Ivisic, Kerry Booth, clearly unplayable. And I don't understand why people are saying Humrickhouse is unplayable. It doesn't make sense. I don't want to defend him. I don't want to defend Ben Humrickhouse. I don't give a shit. But like, he has to play at least 15 to 20 minutes. I don't know. It depends on the matchups and whatnot. But this was a matchup where Nebraska has lengthy wings, and I was afraid that would be tough for Kaspers to face a Bryce Williams who is really old and bigger and played 41 minutes last night. Like, I thought that was a bad matchup for Kaspers potentially. Kaspers, I don't care what anybody says, he wasn't good last night, but he wasn't like panic button, he sucks bad. I don't understand how people are like complaining that, oh, Kaspers is not a top 5 pick. Oh, maybe he'll go 7th because that's so bad. It's just fucking annoying how every game, it's insufferable in the way that one guy has to get called out or another. Can we I don't know. They're all fan. What the fuck do I care? Who cares?
Yeah, I like people are going back to, Hummer's bad. It was a bad evaluation from Brad. Like, do you know how many threes and shots Brad's seen Humrickhouse take? Like, he knows he can make them. It's not like he just like, oh yeah, this guy's a good shooter because I saw something when he played in NAIA. No, like, that's dumb. You guys are dumb. Hey, my UPS just came. Should I go get my package?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Humrickhouse should be scoring more points. That is a big issue for me because you look at the last 5 games and man, it's not good. It's not good for a guy that's starting and supposed to score points. He had 7 against Indiana, 6 against Michigan State, 0 against Maryland, 14 against Northwestern, and 1 last night. He's just got to score more points. That's really what it comes down to. He's got to figure out ways to score, and he's just not as talented underneath as Marcus Damask was. And I just think that there's a lot of reasons why people are going after him. I understand it, but we need to settle down. Maybe not settle down. I won't tell people to settle down, but take a step back and think about what's going on when it comes to Humrickhouse's struggles. Because he can't make shots, and that's what it comes down to. And I don't think anybody – I find it humorous how there were games early in the season where he got dominated on defense and everyone was bitching, and now that he's been playing solid, decent defense, everybody just doesn't talk about the defense anymore. And I understand that because he's not scoring. He's got 26 points in the last 5 games. That's not even close to what he needs to have. So that's a problem. Kaspers, hard to forget or hard to, remember that he's a freshman, but you can't turn the ball over the way he was last night, obviously, especially
the team turned the ball over how you can't. I know Kaspers had some of them. Will Riley jumping in the air, throwing it straight out of bounds. Everybody, all the turnovers were just bad.
Well, it just pisses me off that people are complaining so much about KJ. It's he's their highest ceiling best player. Why the fuck would he be sitting? I don't care. He was still probably the second best or second most productive. He was the most productive starter easily. But in terms of the game, he was right there with Will Riley and DGL in terms of production for Illinois.
Yeah. And he pulls down 13 rebounds also.
Yeah. And he had 10 of them in the defensive end, which Illinois, allowed 13 offensive rebounds, including 7 between Morgan and Gary. You'd like to be a little better than that. And I know he had the turnovers, but he is the best player on the team. He needs to be playing. And 36 minutes might not have even been enough last night for him. He probably should have played 40. I don't understand how he didn't. I know that he had a couple turnovers and they benched him, fine, whatever. But It makes no sense to me. And if you're an Illinois fan and you're bitching about, oh, he's such a top 5 pick, look at those turnovers, just stop. That guy that was doing that on Twitter, I invited him on the show. He didn't want to come on because he doesn't fucking know what he's talking about. So whatever, he's dodging. Yeah. I wrote some stuff down about the starters.
Oh yeah, Hummer awful, Boswell bad.
Yep.
KJ not good enough.
Yep.
Merez,
what can you do?
What can you do? Trey White, what?
Yeah, Trey White, what was that? And then Jake Davis, he lacked details in certain parts of the game. I thought, some of the scout stuff, whether it's falling for the pump fake or dropping passes, stuff like that. Will Riley, after I called him out, he started to make some shots. I said at least he made some shots. His defense, awful. And then Kerry Booth, see you later. I think we're done with Kerry Booth. I think that's it. Wrap it up.
If you guys want to talk about somebody that Brad might have misevaluated, it's Kerry Booth.
Yeah. But also Hummer does not score enough. That is a fair criticism.
The ball's got to go in the hoop.
He's averaging 27 minutes a game and averaging like 9 points. Like you can't have that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's some games where he only gets 3 threes up too.
Yeah, but there have been other games where he gets 7 up and misses all of them, or he gets like 4 up and makes 1, or he goes 0 for 3, and he needs to be able to score from places other than the 3-point line. But he's had just too many of these 1 for 4, 1 for 5 games. If you look at him when everybody was really going after him in December, it was 1 for 9, 1 for 5, 1 for 4, 1 for 3, 1 for 4. And then he had another 1 for 5, and then an 0 for 3 against Maryland, 0 for 7 last night. There's just too many of those games. He's only had 2 instances this year where he scored 10-plus points in consecutive games.
Yeah.
You can't have that.
Jim says we also do not really know how much the wrist forearm might still be bothering KJ and is affecting his turnover rate from dribbling. His handles have been not great.
Well, I think that's maybe a small part of it, but he was also really good in his first game back. So I don't know. I think you're also asking him to do, like, maybe he's over dribbling on his own, but I think you're still asking him to do a lot when it comes to handling the offense, which he should do, but it just doesn't feel like there's enough help around him. Boswell is really giving you nothing in a lot of areas in the offensive end right now. And they don't have anybody that anybody's scared of from 3. That's a problem. I think teams are going to exploit that probably, like you said.
Yeah.
So I've always said, Hummer, his release is not quick enough. It's a fact. Not quick enough. Not a fluid enough shooter. Him and Will Riley. Maybe if I get in the gym with them, they'll be fixed. But
yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you make the ball go in the hole.
That's not the only part of it, though. Hummer is incapable of playing booty ball, which they thought he might be able to do.
No, we thought he might be able to do that. Fans thought that. Did Brad ever say that?
How do you know I'm not saying they as in fans? I never said it. Okay,
well, I'm just saying, like, everybody seems to say that, but.
Well, I'll tell you this. He made 53. He made 67 twos last year. He's only got 20 this year, and he's down 4.5%.
I believe that.
So,
what's this team like? I don't know. Everybody collapses on this team. It doesn't matter who tries to bring it inside. There's a problem with this team getting the ball inside. And Brad even said last night that they're not a good post-up team. So what do? You shoot threes.
The only guy that you expect to post up,
and you need guys to move, and guys don't move. There's no movement. There's no off-ball screens. There's Brad wants to play in space, but guys don't know how to move in space.
Well, that's probably where a lot of Kasper's issues might be coming from on offense.
How many bad games for DGL to have before people start turning on him too?
I would say the next 2 if he's not good. It's over.
Because he's going to get minutes. He'll probably get 30 next game.
Yeah.
So I hope that he's good because you guys will jump on his ass next.
I didn't even include DGL on the bench. I apologize. Oh, he's on
DGL is our player of the game.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to say good game, not quite good enough to win.
I mean, he's the reason they went to overtime.
Well, then he should get the final shot.
He should be in the game at least. He should be in the game at least.
Would you take Boswell out, have Hummer inbound, and get it to DGL?
Brad only trusts guards to inbound the ball for some
Which
reason.
is fucking insane.
Yeah. I mean, I would have rather had KJ inbound the ball. But he probably would have threw some like behind the back out of bounds pass or something.
Brad built the team, but also like he's getting a lot of information from assistants too. So
yeah,
it's his job to make the decision, and the blame will fall on him. But let's, it's not that easy to say.
What are these guys talking about in here?
He's
As
also
soon
on
as
thin
Tommy
ice.
finds his way. As soon as Tommy finds his way on the floor, will be good. Maybe a lower seed than expected this season, but that's not the end all be all.
It is if you play Alabama in the second round.
You don't want to be on the 8-9 line, that's for sure.
I'd rather be 8-9 than 7-10. Lock.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, none of these one seeds scare me. They kill this Illinois team would run Auburn out of the gym.
We're still down one assistant. Tyler Underwood. What are you talking about?
They replaced Anderson with that one. What's his name?
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
What's his face?
Yeah. How about, Antigua helps Kerry Booth or something? I don't know. Fuck. Antigua can't help Hummer in the post?
Also, how does big guy from Nebraska get to shove Casper's like 12 rows into the stands after a timeout? And they go and look at it and they don't do anything.
Well, the refs were terrible in this game, which they always are. But my God,
sad Illinois sucks so bad we can't even complain about them.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, the ball that didn't go off Casper's, as they call, out of bounds. The
first foul on Merez was not good. Second one, I think, was a foul, but
no, neither were fouls. No way.
Yeah. Did you think Nebraska had a better home court advantage than Illinois last night?
I think me and you in my basement is better than the Orange Crush in terms of impact.
Fair.
Which the train is off the rails if this team loses Sunday. And I hope it doesn't get to that point, because then you might make me start to flip out about the team, which I don't want to do.
Yeah, because you were very calm last night. And then you kind of switched up after the spaces, but you said the time to worry would be after we lose the next one.
I think that you have to have a level-headed approach, which I've tried to have. I think that there were times where there's a lot of times where people maybe in this space, sometimes maybe not in the Illini world, because those are just fans who flip out for the most part. But people want to do things for effect. I'm not going to do that. I'm only going to yell and be mad when I'm actually mad. I'm not going to fake it. And a lot of these comments in the chat today are fucking stupid, but I'm not going to get mad.
Whoa.
Just want to take a shot. It was fun. They enjoyed it. If anybody's mad about me saying that, fuck off. And also,
I think that's why they watch, to get berated by you. So
good. That's how it should be. You want to address Cindy's comment before we even went live?
In before the bum brick house apologists.
She's incapable. I don't want to assume, but she's incapable of talking about anybody other than Hummer. Every time she's in the chat, it's all about Hummer. I mean, every time.
I mean, I know he didn't make a three, but I don't know.
He sucked last night. We can't.
His shooting sucked though.
But he also scored 1 point and missed a free throw and took the first two fucking shots in overtime.
I agree.
Offensively, he was completely useless. We can't deny that.
I would agree with that. Yes.
Defensively, it didn't even matter because they were just getting they weren't even getting shredded. They just weren't getting stops when they needed them.
Suck.
His Sejan didn't even kill them. I thought with the way it started, he was going to go 5 for 10 from 3. He went 2 for 6.
Yeah. I thought a Sejan was going to just light
us up. The second the refs start to let you get away with slightly illegal screens, you're good the rest of the game. And I'm not saying Nebraska had a bunch of illegal screens, but there were a lot of screens that weren't set. And I don't even know what the rule is.
Maybe Illinois needs to start setting illegal screens more.
Yeah, I mean, Merez would probably get called for like 3 of them in a game, but
I don't send Jake Davis in there to go just set moving screens all game.
I think this team needs to get nastier. And that's not a toughness thing. That's like a let's place a little dirty.
DGL did say that he thought that the energy was down and he tried to get them up. So when you're 6th man, 7th
he's
man,
the senior member of the program.
That's true.
Him and Ty.
That's
I guess
true.
Ty's older, obviously, but Ty's not playing, so it doesn't matter. All right, I guess we'll just take final thoughts on this game. It's really bad to lose this game, and it's really bad to shoot the way that they've been shooting. I mean, this team is becoming impossibly bad from 3. And there are certain things where you can't really recover in games when you don't do other things well. Like Illinois doesn't force any turnovers defensively, which if you're just going to play half-court offense, you're going to miss a bunch of threes, and then you're not generating turnovers on the other end, you're going to have a hard time figuring out how to win games. Like you can't really generate much momentum if you're going to miss shots on one end and then just, not get stops or not force turnovers on the other end. And that's where I think the guards on the perimeter have to be a little bit nastier on the defensive end. I want to see more of that. I think DGL is a guy that brings it. I'm 100% advocating for DGL to start on Sunday over Kylan Boswell. It's not a slight at Boswell at all. I just think if you're going to change it up, that's where I would change it up. It doesn't make much sense to me if you start Will Riley over Trey White, but I understand it 100%. But obviously, I think the guys who are safe in the lineup right now, I know people are going to fucking hate to hear this, but I think the guys who should be safe in the lineup with Ivisic out are Merez, Hummer, KJ. Like those 3, I think should be safe in the lineup. I think Boswell's on the hot seat. Trey White probably is as well. They're shooting 31.4% from 3 on the season now, which is good for 284th in the country. Not good. Not good at all. And then you look at Big Ten play, the numbers are only getting worse. It's 28.6% now. It's 2nd worst in the conference. I think that's behind. I don't know who that's behind now, but it's just tough to play that poorly. How is he not, though, Eric? Like, I don't understand what the fuck your point is. Like, he's 6'9". He's been justifiably solid enough defensively to where, from a matchup perspective, it makes no sense to have a thinner, smaller Will Riley in the lineup. That makes no sense. Like, I understand there are frustrations with his offensive game. I share those frustrations. As I've said multiple fucking times on this podcast, if you're even fucking listening, that Hummer's offense last night was useless, and it's been useless. He's averaging 5 points in the last 3 games. You can't fucking have that. I don't care if the shots aren't going in or not. He has to figure out a way to score other than just throwing up slowly released threes, which is pretty much what he does. He's not athletic at all. It's just it's not good enough. And if this guy's going to be touted as a potential NBA guy coming in, I think our expectations should be high. But with that being said, I think he still needs to start because I just think from a matchup perspective, it makes no sense, especially when you have some of these Big Ten teams that have bigger bigs, like Maryland and Indiana, and Nebraska has size on the wing and underneath. So it doesn't make any sense to me. I get it. People don't like Hummer. I mean, I guess you could justify not starting Hummer in the Ohio State game because Ohio State
doesn't have a
Sean Stewart's their 5 and he's 6'9", but they have 2 guys that are 7'1" that come off the bench. Yeah. Fine, if that's what they do, I understand it. But I think that Hummer, Merez, and KJ are the guys who should be safe right now in the lineup. So whatever. Everybody's like, it's like a political thing. They're blinded by their hate for Hummer. I hate him too. He fucking sucks. But geez,
just a bunch of haters. I was going to say something, but I don't care.
Now, Jim, I don't know what you're looking at here. I have 2 different sources that say 284 and 283, so I think you're wrong.
I saw somebody post 300, but
284th or 283rd. I've vetted 2 sources on this.
It's still bad. Real bad.
It's definitely not good enough. I don't think it's something that good teams should be doing. But I really don't have a problem with them taking as many threes as they're going to take if their offense inside the 3-point line is going to suck.
Yeah, like this team hasn't proven that they can do anything inside. So
Illinois is 284th in 3-point percentage on KenPom, 283rd on S rating, and 287th on Bart Torvik. So
he's on ESPN. That's why.
I trust the other three over ESPN. Reason the Big Ten doesn't fucking have a deal with those losers anymore. Let's listen to Seth Greenberg. Seth Greenberg is one of the biggest fucking idiots in this space when it comes to analysis. He's literally, folks, I don't know if you've been paying attention to this, blinded by his love for John Calipari, the way he talks about Kentucky. So, and I hate to agree with John, what's his name? John Goodman? No, that's the actor. Jeff Goodman. Hate to agree with him on that, but he's right. I almost said Dockage. I mean, Dockage and Greenberg, basically the same fucking guy. Who's last in the Big Ten? Yeah, I got to find that out because Illinois is 17th, which is still like they should be last. How are they not last?
It's going to be like Washington or something.
Washington's last. But Illinois, okay, Washington is last at 28.3%, but Illinois is at 28.6%. So it's like tied.
Yep.
Seth Davis is the type of guy that you unfollow when the season's over and then refollow him when the season starts. And that's just because he's on TV and doing the CBS stuff. So
Seth Curry.
I'm a better shooter than Seth Curry because Seth Curry would have taken longer than I did to make that three in the wet snow last night on the half.
I had to quit watching after you airballed that first one.
It was tough. It took a while. Yeah.
Everybody last night was calling for off-ball screens. Time to ask, do you think Dane could have made a difference this season for us? Merez just isn't a scoring danger.
Why do we have to do this? If you were here earlier, Jeffrey, you would have heard something, but it's just
Dane just didn't. With Tommy and Merez, Dane was not going to get the kind of time that he wanted.
And Merez is a freshman. Like, he can develop that, and he's playing more than they probably expected to be playing him this year. He does a lot of things really well. Like, defensively, I think he's probably better than Dane or close already.
Yeah. Just his wingspan and his length and his athleticism. He's got quick feet. I think
Dane also kind of brought like a weird energy to the team. I don't know, just something, based on what's been going on with him at Memphis,
What'd you think about DGL's body language when he got taken out for Hummer? He was not happy.
I think that's what
rightfully so.
I think that's what you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think DGL can handle anything because you look at, a certain person who tweets, and then you look at like him wanting to stay here, and
he's been through some shit. Merez is one of the better performing players right now. He has exceeded expectations. I would agree.
I just think Dane kind of slogs things up. He's a fine player, but I just think that it was best for both sides to move on after that.
Your mom, Eric, your mom.
Haha.
Right. On to the next game. Let's get over this shit. I'm tired of talking about it.
Yeah, I guess they could use Dane for this very specific scenario where their best big is out. Like, yeah, that's great. Illinois, Ohio State, Sunday, 12 o'clock, CBS, big spot. I'm sure the Orange Crush is really going to bring it. By the way, if the Orange Crush does not bring it, and I want reporting on the ground. I'll have some people maybe report on the ground. If the Orange Crush doesn't bring it Sunday, then fuck right off. I think you get rid of that section entirely. Fuck those people if they don't bring it in a game like this. I don't care.
I know what you meant, Eric. I was joking.
I don't care.
Sorry, I can't joke. Ethan can cuss you all out. Yeah, I say one thing, people attack me.
I'm good at it. Thank you. Illinois 14-7, 18th in the AP poll. Who cares about that? I don't even know why. I should just stop adding that. Ohio State 13-8, 5-5 in the Big Ten. But don't let that be deceptive. Ohio State's been playing some pretty good basketball. You look at the Buckeyes last night, they were the game before Illinois, and they dismantled Penn State, which I don't think Penn State's very good, but that's fine. They beat them by 19. They beat Iowa by 17. They won at Purdue. So they won 3 in a row after dropping 3 in a row. They played a lot of close games, though. You look at Purdue, they won by 3. Indiana lost by 1. Wisconsin lost by 2. Oregon lost by 2. Minnesota, they won by 1 in double overtime. They lost by 7 to Michigan State. This is a team that I think is capable of beating a lot of teams in the country. They beat Kentucky by 20. They beat Purdue But then they also lost to Auburn. They lost to A&M. They lost to Pitt. They lost to Maryland by 24. So they're kind of a hard team to figure out. But what they do well is shoot the ball. They are 45th in the country. They shoot at 37% from three. Illinois, of course, 31.4, 283rd according to S rating. I know there's been some controversy about where Illinois ranks in three-point percentage. Just know that they're 280 or worse, I guess, is the is the conclusion there. Offensive rating, Illinois is 46th in the country. Ohio State's 59th. Defensive rating, Illinois is 6th in the country. Ohio State's 55th. But then you look at the defensive efficiency, Ohio State's 21st and 32nd on offense. Offensive rebounding, this is where Illinois, once again, rebounding. They have a huge edge. Illinois 10th in the country in offensive rebounding, first in defensive rebounding. Ohio State 266 in offensive rebounding, and then 68th in defense. Like the rebounding numbers are hugely in favor of Illinois. And then adjusted efficiency margin, according to S rating, Illinois is 12th, Ohio State 22nd. In the net, this is a quad one opportunity as of right now. Ohio State's 25th in the country, Illinois 14th in the net. They continue to drop. They were 9th like a week ago. Ken Palm, Illinois 18th. They've dropped 7 spots after that game, and then Ohio State 24th. I wrote this down, Illinois from the Oregon game on January 2nd to now, what Illinois' three-point percentage is in every game, and this is what we would refer to as falling off of a cliff. They shot 55% against Oregon, 19% in the next one, 32%, 22%, 34%, 21%, 28%, 24%. So 0 games above 35 post-Oregon, 1 game above 32, 1 game at 32, and then 4 games under 30, 3 games under 25, and 1 game under 20% from 3. And when your best guys are not making them, it becomes a problem because Ohio State does make them. Last night, Bruce Thornton was 5 for 7 from 3. John Mobley was 3 for 8. They only shot 36% of a team as a team, but that's like Illinois shooting 46% right now. So you got to guard their perimeter because their 2 guards are the best players in the team right now. Bruce Thornton had 17, 1 and 2 last night. Mobley, who's a freshman, 6'1", had 19, 6 and 8. So it's a capable team. They're talented. I think Illinois needs to come into this game with the view of like, we need to bury these guys, kind of like they did against Northwestern. I don't know if they're really capable of that after how rattled they're going to be after practice today and tomorrow, but Ohio State's 17th in conference play in offensive turnover percentage. So if there was ever a time for Illinois to start forcing turnovers, this would be the game because it is becoming a problem. This team just doesn't force turnovers at all. They're 352nd in the country.
Huge problem, especially for a team that wants to get out and run. Like you can get all the rebounds you want, but like it's hard to get out and run off rebounds, especially when teams know that that's what you're trying to do.
Well, I
think they only turned the ball over once last night. I mean, like had a steal, one steal last night, maybe.
Yeah. Well, what I would say is like Illinois, it's going to be hard to win games when you're missing threes. You're not forcing any turnovers, which turnovers can create momentum. Yeah. You're giving the other team momentum, and they got to figure it out because right now they just don't even do it. Like they've forced 13.6% a game, which that's 4% below the D1 average this year. That is troubling. But they're also below the average and turning it over on offense, and everyone bitches about that. Like they never talk about the fact that Illinois forces no turnover. It's always about the turnovers they have, which throughout the season, for the most part,
that's probably why people notice it. Like not notice it, but that's why those turnovers mean so much more is because they're not turning the other team over.
Yeah, and like the people expect the guards to not turn the ball over this year. Like this team is top 100 in turnover percentage on offense. Like there's a couple games where it's been really bad, but for the most part, they have not been like a turnover prone team where it just ruins the flow of the offense like it did last night.
Yeah, there's been times, but
yeah, it's like your perimeter.
It's not every. I would say it's not every game. Yeah.
Your perimeter is a 19-year-old junior. I understand it. He's a little undersized too. A sophomore who's a little undersized relative to Caspers, who's a freshman. It's just like those are the guys that are going to turn the ball over. You have to expect it. I know that there are games like last night where it's terrible, but overall, this team has not been an offense that's super turnover prone. Unfair to suggest otherwise. But in recent games, I
Sure.
suppose the numbers have been higher. I mean, the last 2 losses, they have 33 turnovers, Nebraska and Maryland. So, and a game where they don't have Kasparis, they only turned over 10 times because Boswell turned over 5, which is half of that. Michigan State.
Jim says, should we maybe try a strong press to raise the defensive turnover rate and maybe get some layups? We have more wings and guards right now. Yeah, the problem is, like, that's one thing that, like, Brad just doesn't implement.
But Illinois also has, like, a very good, effective half-court defense that doesn't force turnovers.
Yeah, and yeah, they haven't been – they do what they're made to do, and it's force tough twos. It's when you have just the mental breakdowns where you're ball watching, or you again, the Jake Davis jumping at Worcestershire, I think is what Hinkle called him.
Rude.
It's just those things that you can't do, especially in a game where you can't where you're not shooting the ball well. So,
but also the most shocking thing of this season is that the defense is better than the offense.
Yeah.
If you watch the Ole Miss game back, you'd be like, how on earth is that possible? Or even like Alabama.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. But I don't know. Maybe Brad needs to say we shoot like a 7th grade basketball team, and maybe that'll pump them up. Because once he said about the defense, they took off. Players to watch. Might as well.
Okay. I'm going with Kasparis again. I went with him last game. I'm going to go with him again. And I'm going to go with Micah Parrish at Ohio State. This Ohio State's a team of really good guards, and so we need our guards to be really good also. Can Kasparis handle the ball better? They got a lot of guys that defend the ball hard at Ohio State, so I got to limit the turnovers, and I'd like to see Kasparis find a way. I know it's been really hard for him right now to get to the basket more. I think he only got to the basket 2-3 times maybe last night. So Illinois has to find a way to get downhill more.
I'm going Bruce Thornton. And by the way, Parrish is the exact type of guy who's just going to kill Illinois, I think.
Yeah. He's only 6'6".
5-year guy, though.
Yeah.
Went very experienced at San Diego State, 2 years where they went runner-up and then Sweet 16. I'm going Bruce Thornton for Ohio State because I'm going Boswell for Illinois because Boswell obviously play better. I mean, good God, please. Bruce Thornton for Ohio State had 17 last night, 15 the game before that. He's shooting in the last 3 games after a couple games where he wasn't as great. He went 2 for 9 between the Wisconsin-Indiana losses, but they won their last 3. And in those games, he's shooting 11 of 18 from 3. So got to guard him. And his assist rate is down because of Mobley, but he's still a very capable shooter. And Ohio State's a team that in their last 3 games has made a lot of big shots when they needed it. And Illinois is going to have to find a way to get out in front and keep the pedal to the metal, as they say. Northwestern, they didn't do that, but they did get out
through
in
the
front.
Floorboard. That's what they're supposed to be doing.
They didn't have the capability of doing that.
They never led last night.
Yeah.
Never. That's disgusting.
That's tough. Hard to do. And by the way, Ohio State, like, they're much better than their record to me. Like, they're 13-8, 5-5. They have the 9th overall hardest strength of schedule in the country. 75th in non-conference. So they've played a hard schedule. They played A&M, Pitt, Auburn, Kentucky in non-conference. Then in conference play, they've already played Purdue and Michigan State and Maryland. So a better team than their record, and they could, be ahead of Illinois if they win this game at 6-5.
Yeah. Jeffrey says it's got a stat for Brad: 0-4 when behind at half. Hope that get put in there with all those Ken Palm numbers. Maybe Brad will figure it out then.
Boy, what a point.
Yeah, Ohio State is playing really good basketball. So,
which is why we're both dumb enough to pick Illinois to win.
I just feel like, Brad usually gets his team up after a loss.
No, not this year.
Not this year, but yeah, I'm going to take Illinois in a close one, 78-76.
82-77.
Hopefully.
Are Illini fans
Fans
fans afraid of adversity? I just want to know. Feels like you guys are. It's like they've never seen it. You know, gotta have it. Gotta have it.
Yeah, I just think that I don't know. I think that I think people put unrealistic expectations on this team, is what I think happened.
I mean, I don't know. After the Oregon game, though,
Yeah. It's
and
true,
then to
but how
follow up
good's Oregon
Oregon
right
with,
now?
I know, but they fucking murdered them. They made them look like a D3 team.
Yeah, just they have so many quad one wins, but they don't. I don't know if they're any good. So,
I think they're fine, but not scary at all. I don't know.
yeah.
UCLA's always been the better one of the two, and ever since everyone's bitching about what Mick Cronin was saying, they've won 5 in a row. So there you go. How about that?
Good job, Mick. He might be the best coach in the Big Ten.
I wouldn't go that far.
Illinois 76, Ohio State 75, says Eric. All right. Do you want to do this reveal tonight, or do you want to wait till Sunday?
I think we do it Sunday
Okay.
because like the camera shot is bigger. You know, it just makes sense.
Okay. I got you.
And people are really pissed off about the guy that wears number 3 right now. So
That's true.
let's let everybody cool down for a day, and then or a couple days, and then we'll be back Sunday. It's a noon game, so
Got a package to open. It's already open, but got a package to open Sunday.
giving away
for
your
you guys.
address.
I don't care.
Okay.
Guys, send me shit.
So yeah, we'll be live 11:50.
Yeah, watch party Sunday.
Sunday. So yeah, we'll see you then. Illinois stinks right now, and this is what I think about Brad as the outro plays, and we'll see you then Sunday. Underwood.
Thin ice.